have returned once again today to actually deliver another stream of Gold Kamuy, the third season. I mean, I've got to refresh the whole entire page because YouTube actually will not work for me. I mean, I guess I'll get it soon enough. It'll work soon enough. Oh my god. Come on, YouTube. I believe in you. I'll be good to go. We certainly are. So yes, I'll put my microphone up just a tiny bit more. So yes, I should mute myself as well, to be honest. So we actually have returned to episode 9 or episode 33 of Golden Kamuy, the anime series. As we know, 32 was amazing. Probably the most standout episode of this whole entire season, I must say. It was just so goddamn amazing, I must say. I feel like the show is like masterful in actually how it portrays the effects of like war on every single character, because every single character, as we've always kind of said, has experienced everything differently, and they carry those scars with them. Some we've actually seen a lot of, others we've only ever seen a micro bit of it. But even in the smaller bits, you get so much context on actually how it affected them and actually how they are now. And the whole entire Manslayer episode is probably one of the most quintessential episodes this whole entire season because of actually how it did it. It was amazing. It was actually legitimately incredible how they actually did the whole entire episode. The visual direction was fantastic. This entire season, goddamn, the visuals have just been absolutely outstanding, and just can't wait to see what else this show does next. I mean, I'm both excited and very scared, as always am with Golden Kamuy, because you just never know what's gonna happen. But anyway. Let's put on Twitter actually gone live. Right, I do believe of that we should be good to go. Are we, though? We most certainly are. So, as I always say, let's get this show on the road. Let's start this thing in 3, 2, 1. Let's start this thing absolutely now. I think I've got an idea where this episode's going towards this week as well. I feel like there's actually been an episode about Kiro and Wilk, if I remember. Sophia. Oh, it's happening. Oh, it's happening. It's happening. So yeah, I mean, this series is legitimately incredible. Like, I always will say it. I mean, I always will say also read the manga, because the manga is actually legitimately like one of the best in the universe. It's so goddamn good. The manga is literally incredible as well. But God, the episode was brilliant. Like, I was wondering how they would adapt it, and I was just like, they did it. They goddamn did it. It's just because I always appreciated how this show's portrayed as all its themes. All the themes this show does, it does so goddamn well. And I also like the idea of the history as well, because history is a massive important factor in this whole entire series. The idea of preserving it, the idea of actually keeping it alive, and to utilize the whole entire Manslayer episode to actually kind of almost not create a juxtaposition, but kind of say, this is the idea of how we want to keep this whole entire history alive, but then also this is what history can in theory do. It's the idea of actually that whole entire juxtaposition was actually really well done. It was one of those things that it kind of highlights a lot about what this show's saying as well. And again, the entire thing with the Manslayer actually was legitimately really depressing, because it's that whole entire idea of keeping hold of what you know. But then the world constantly changing and everything changing with it, it's one of those things of whether or not you can in theory keep that alive. And how maybe some people do in theory move on, and others actually keep on going the exact same place they are currently. So once again, this show is just so goddamn good. One of the best in its field when it comes to this kind of like theme. I love Koito so much. He's so adorable. He's so cute. It's probably the only series in the world that you just want to hug everyone and just say like, they're just so adorable. I also kind of appreciate how dumb with everything Tsukishima actually is as well. Like, it's just kind of like, get me out of here. It's cat. It's the cat man. I love how the season's been like, you haven't seen enough Ogata, so here's your Ogata. I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you, Lord. I missed my cat man. See, Ogata's actual kind of involvement into the whole entire gold scenario is actually quite interesting as well, because every single time the gold's mentioned, his eyes don't light up, but he kind of turns around like as if he knows something, or he knows what will happen if they get a hold of it, that we actually know already. That's the problem. But it's also like he's aware as well. Like in essence, the idea of actually how it will benefit, also maybe how it'll be a detriment as well. I wonder if they skipped up to something like a small arc, whether or not they actually put into an OVA. Do I remember if they did or didn't? Because we had the whole entire scenario where Hijikata's actually like gets kidnapped with Kadakura and everyone. I can't remember if we had it already. Or it was going to be an OVA. That's why I always say don't write off Gata's character, because again, he's kind of like he's an asshole. He's the best asshole in the business, but it's not as if he's just that. Essentially, there's a lot more to him. He's a very complex cat man. Oh, 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 Golden Kamuy, I see you. Oh, I must say, Kira is pretty. Chef kiss. it's even the smaller kind of moments, especially with the smaller groups who don't get too much time with. They seem already really fleshed out as characters. You can tell the relationship they actually have between them already. It's not as if it's like, by the way, it's kind of just plucked out of existence. No, you can tell the importance each of them have over each other. It's also quite interesting how you can infer actually like the animals they introduce into the show as well can almost like in a way can like be, what's the word, can be connected to actual characters in the show as well. Like the idea of actually the entire thing with Ogata as well. Even also other characters as well. It's not just Ogata, but other characters actually kind of are almost like very similar to animals and actually how they live and everything like that. In a sense of like so I guess you could almost say like so Yamato is like a wolf as well in that way. It's not it's almost as if the show's actually saying like they're very similar. Like in essence, like certain traits the characters have almost correlate. Is what I'm trying to say, basically. Not too sure whether or not my entire like sentence just there made any sense, but yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's quite interesting actually. It's quite interesting actually. The idea of actually how they portray the Emperor to be closer to God, and actually how they had to actually say that he isn't. Essentially, it's actually quite. That in itself is actually quite interesting, quite fascinating. Also, modernization is actually quite a massive theme in this show as well when you think about it. I mean, it's not as if it's actually kind of been very like under wraps about the whole entire idea, but it's actually quite a massive theme. The idea of modernization, the idea of what it means, and actually how people adapt to it. Oh. I sure as hell felt that one actually. I felt that. I felt that hit just then. God damn. Jesus. Ooh. Ooh. Twist. Twist. Well, shit. That's a goddamn. That's a goddamn That's a goddamn transformer. Jesus Christ Almighty. Goddamn. Jesus. It's adding on to the whole entire idea. Holy shit. God damn it. This is this episode This episode's gonna change a lot of things. It's also called Drift Ice, isn't it, if I remember correctly? And there's the entire backstory. The entire dynamic between Sophia, Wilk, and also Kira as well is really, really fascinating. There we fucking have it! There it is! I've been waiting for this moment this entire fucking season. I've been waiting for this. This fucking twist. Holy shit, it blew my mind. I was losing it. Oh. 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 Hello. Sorry, I got bring us into the whole entire show just then. Oh my fucking god. I've been waiting for it. You don't even know. As soon as I saw it, I was like, it's happening! It's happening! It's this week, I'm so happy! Yes! It's so fucking well done! You don't know a single thing about it, so just, oh! It hits you! Fuck! That's what I'm saying. Do not ever drop, don't stop watching Golden Kamuy Season 3. It's pure Kino this season. Fucking incredible. This, oh. I've been waiting for it. God, I've been waiting for that moment. Absolute bliss. That whole entire just. It is. Oh god, I was losing it during the entire manga stream. You might be able to find it on my channel. Like the stream. It's like 160 something if I remember correctly. Something around about there. You'll find it. But oh my god, I was fucking losing. I was like, it couldn't be. Is that the entire? Is that what? Bruh. It's just the entire thing. Just it hits you. You're like, wait a minute. It all makes sense now. Everything just kind of, it just all falls into place. You're like, that's it. That's why. You're like, you don't even know it was him. You don't even know the whole entire thing was a backstory for him as well. It's so brilliantly kind of crafted. It's just, Oh my god. Jesus Christ, this anime. Oh. Fucking love this anime so much. It's so fucking good. Oh my god. Oh. Oh, imagine not watching this show. Imagine. I'm just missing out on like just pure Kino. Oh god, where do we fucking begin with this episode? Jesus Christ Almighty! What got to minimize that screen because it's freaking bright in my room. Oh god. Oh man. So who's Nakano Taisuke? Man, oh man. Man, oh freaking man. I have not seen him before. Huh. Completely new. Oh my god. You don't even know. As a manga reader, this whole entire time, I'm just sitting there going, you don't even know. You don't even fucking know. Oh, it hits even better in the anime. It just like, fuck, it happened. It just, oh god fucking damn it. I can't get over that reveal. Because I remember when people, when it first happened, people were like, you're not gonna believe it. It's gonna hit, you're gonna be like, oh fuck. And I was like, they were right. Oh god, it's just so well done. It's so fucking well done. Nothing comes close to that entire twist. It's just like, by the way, it's Surumi. Like, what? And it's just like every single thing just falls into place. It's like a puzzle you didn't know had to be solved, and it was there the entire time. You're like, wait a minute, and just when it happens, you're like, there it is, there it is. You're like, holy shit, how did I, bruh? It's there the entire time. But yeah, I mean, holy shit, right? Trying to talk about this episode is going to be quite hard because I'm going to think about that whole entire twist. Shit. Right. What was the most interesting idea about this whole entire episode really was the idea of actually the uprising itself. Like the idea of actually how they show that people didn't want to via their beliefs. I thought that was actually quite interesting. Like the idea of actually how they saw the Emperor in relation to their religion. That is quite an interesting idea because again, it's this whole entire idea that people kind of imagine that uprisings just kind of happen, and it's like, oh yeah, people will band together and actually kind of go out and do something. Now, out of 10 times, it kind of doesn't really go as planned because sometimes people do in theory believe something, and in doing that, they might not actually kind of revolt because they have this kind of thought process that it can't be changed, essentially. And that whole entire idea with religion as well is quite important. The idea of actually how they see the Emperor almost as close to God, and actually then everyone actually had to prove that no, he isn't. He's no mere God. He's just a human. He has no relation to that kind of like deity idea. Surumi is a very deep character. I always say he's insane, but there's a reason to why he's insane. That's the problem. He's a very, very deep character. Like you can't really write him off as just like, oh yeah, but he's just kind of crazy. Nah, there's actually important plot points to why he is crazy. Though we might actually see one more later on as well. There's one more later on, if I remember correctly. The season might adapt it. I'm not too sure. But yeah, that whole entire idea was quite interesting because, again, this whole entire time you'd imagine that the idea of actually kind of keep what you actually know alive and actually not see it kind of go would actually then instill this idea into other people to actually kind of do the exact same thing, but in doing so, people might not actually kind of have that process as well. So it's actually quite interesting to actually include that whole entire idea, the idea that they try to actually kind of sway people, actually kind of tell people that we have to do this, but then actually no, they didn't actually want to go through with it. I quite like that idea. I always kind of like the idea of actually how they saw the Emperor, because I always kind of like the idea of actually how religion can in theory play an important role into that whole entire concept. Everyone was. I was. When I read this, I was like, holy shit. When I read this, my mind was blown. I couldn't think straight for like a solid 10 minutes. I was like, what the fuck? It's just one of those twists that happens, just like, bruh? But yeah, I mean, and go back to the whole entire thing during the stream itself, like stream itself, the idea of actually how animals and people, the traits they share, kind of do and through coexist. That's like the same during the entire stream, like how certain characters share certain traits with the animals as well. Actually, how the entire thing with Ogata was kind of one of the actual major ones. The idea of actually how he shares a lot with a lot of character traits with how an animal kind of does in free work as well. Even though Ogata we'll see more of him later on as well. But yeah, I mean, even with the wolf as well, the wolf can be attributed to many of the characters in the show as well, and actually how they live as well. Sugimoto kind of does in theory remind me a little bit how wolf would actually kind of like live as well. That whole entire idea, because he does kind of live as a lone wolf in a way, in essence, this entire time. Though he has got that human side to him, as we always know him, but he actually has that kind of lone wolf kind of idea as well. Even though, as we know what happened later on, it kind of doesn't free. It's kind of is interesting because it's one of those things the show just subtly kind of includes it. I mean, it can also cut to other characters as well. Don't get me wrong; it's not as if it's just Sugimoto, but I'm just saying it's one of those things that you can almost attribute to him as well. But yeah, I mean, the start of the show really was the entirety of like the relationship between Will, Kiro, and Sophia. Because again, it's that whole entire idea that you could tell like they're not just kind of, as I said during the stream, what this show does perfectly is illustrates why these characters actually are important to one another. And actually how, in a way, Wilk is one of these people that can in theory like command, actually kind of can in theory like almost carry these people through the way he actually has in theory, actually with the way he speaks and everything like that. He actually kind of has that tone, that kind of voice that anything he tells you, you would actually go through with as well, because he's just kind of he's very soft spoken, if you get what I mean. It's one of the things actually quite hard to explain, but if you ever listen to people and actually how they speak, you kind of get that idea and actually how people can in theory actually almost lead in a way. Walk actually has that kind of thought. It's interesting that in the end, Sophia didn't go along with them and actually kind of stayed as revolutionary. And actually now we know what happened to Sophia. So it's actually quite interesting to see how that entire thing played out. Because again, you could tell during that entire episode how Sophia was as a person, how Sophia actually has that exterior about her. And actually, though deep down, she actually is a very kind, actually very caring person. A person who can, in theory, who maybe isn't essentially maybe cut out for where she is, but almost actually has that entire thought as well. Because again, the way she kind of held the child as well was one of those things that had like a little bit of a nuance to it. It was really kind of tender, if you get what I mean. But at the same time, you could tell that she actually is almost cut out for what she does, because the way she actually kind of doesn't fully command the entire scene as well. It's one of those things, the show actually does that brilliantly. It gives you both sides of the character, essentially. It doesn't actually just kind of give you, like, the one perspective. Each character in each event has this kind of nuance about it that kind of adds a little bit more to actually how the character is. And actually, that's why I appreciate the show so much, because the show isn't always just so cut and dry with the characters. These characters actually are very important. And actually, to actually see how they are now versus how they were beforehand is very important, because it kind of gives you then more context, actually, how then we will react to actually how they see each character going forward. So Sophia actually having that kind of kind, nurturing kind of personality as well, when she held the child, at that point, actually, then when she kind of thought she shot the child as well, how it ate away at her, it kind of tells you there and then that she has that soft, nurturing kind of personality that is very much important. That might in theory factor in later on to the entire series. We don't know. That's the thing. So the show does really well as well. It's just small things like that. It goes a long way. That's why I like it. I also like that she actually did in theory kind of confess her feelings as well, and actually how you could tell that Wilk leaving as well isn't just an important factor on Asiropa and also then Kyoranke, but also on her because of her feelings towards him as well. There's also probably that idea as well that maybe going through with everything as well might have not led to a good outcome, because again, it's that whole entire idea that sometimes going through with your ideals can in theory then lead you down to the route of like demise as well. That's the thing to note as well. So possibly, maybe Sophia not going along with them was also attributed to the fact that maybe she knew that something could in theory happen to Wilk, and she couldn't live with the idea of if something happened to him, what would happen then, essentially. So again, These characters are very deep. They're very deep characters. They're not very surface level. They're not characters you can just write off as just like a character archetype, essentially. Their characters are very deep and actually very, very, very deep and actually very kind of like three-dimensional. And actually, like, that's why I kind of show so much as well. The show's doing a really good job actually kind of exploring the characters as well. Like, in essence, you don't have the principal cast all the time in this season. It's more or less you're kind of concentrating on like smaller groups of characters rather than a massive ensemble of them. And because of that whole entire idea, it works even better because, yeah, you don't see Sugimoto that much, but at the same time, what you get in return is a very kind of well thought out backstory about why Sophia is why we should feel importance towards Sophia as well. It's the whole entire idea. It's like the show just knows how to actually kind of almost bring out those kind of things about these characters and actually then at that point you feel like you actually want to see more of them. You want to see more of their kind of like relationship. You could improve like a whole entire series out of just Wilt, Kiro, and Sophia because of the way they actually are towards one another. And actually then the possibility of maybe the bits in between with Sophia as well, actually what we didn't see up until now, essentially. That whole entire thing can almost be a whole entire season as well, because again, there's just so much there. There's just, you could tell, the way she is as a person, you can tell there's just so much that you can explore. All the different parts of her character actually are very much an idea they could explore later on as its own thing. Because she is very, very deep as a character as well. She's not just, by the way, I can do all these things. No, as I said beforehand, though she might have realized maybe she isn't cut out for going with Wilk, she actually has that kind nurturing idea as well, so she can in theory then lead as well. She actually has that kind of personality that she can in theory lead, because at that point it's very important that she kind of have a character. She can in theory almost care for the people that she's with, so that's also very important. But yeah, above all else, God, this show's fantastic. God, this show's so good. And also Agata as well. As I was saying during the stream as well, how Agata actually has in theory got an eye on the gold, but not the eye you expect as well. That's the problem. He's not going there for the sake of actually for monetary gain, to my knowledge at this point. He's not for monetary gain. I think he knows what's going to happen if one party were to get it, essentially. That's the thing with Agata. He knows what's going to happen, and I think that's the problem as well. Like, in essence, that's why he turned around when Acidippus said, "By would this actually benefit the Ainu?" Like, he turned around and went, "Oh, wait a minute," because he knows what could happen. The idea of gold itself, isn't just, by the way, here's a bunch of gold, essentially. There's a lot involved with it. That's the problem. It's not just such a cut and dry idea. It's not just, by the way, yeah, okay, here's a bunch of gold, go forth, basically. You understand that would, in theory, create civil conflict as well. The idea of actually who would then command the gold, who would then actually kind of get the gold. That's the things it kind of does, in theory, bring out. So I think he knows. I think he knows the outcome of this whole entire, like, idea. And possibly, he's just there for the ride. Just kind of experiencing it, kind of like seeing, oh shit, maybe people are catching on to what I'm thinking as well. That's a thing to note as well. But again, don't write for Gata just yet. He's very important this whole entire season. You will see later on. So yeah, we're heading to the final stretch of this whole entire season now. But we're on episode 10 next week, which actually is the penultimate episode of the whole entire season. So I can't wait to see what else this show does next. But god damn it. It is fucking incredible. I love it. So yes, that is me done for today. Sorry for being a very long-winded review. It's almost 20 minutes long, actually. It's so much to talk about in this episode as well. The entire thing with Sophia, the entire thing with Surumi as well. Everything. It's just, it's so good. So yes, as always, Goshicho arigatou gozaimasu. Boku no dogo wo moshiroi to omotara ine ya channel toruku wo onegaishimasu. So as always, you actually have enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole on YouTube and doing free, leave a like because indeed it's only quite a bit. If you have then enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole on YouTube and doing free, leave a sub because indeed it's only quite a bit as well. If you have then enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole on YouTube and doing free, leave a follow on Twitter or join Discord as well, because both do help me quite a lot, and both will then tell you when your streams are live and any other streams to do as well. But until next time, some more Golden Kamuy, the 3rd season. See you guys later.